What up, yo? How y'all doing? How's your mom and them? Terry Lancaster here. So, listen, if you haven't seen or heard this week's edition of the Get You Some radio show, you need to check it out. You can see it at terrylancaster.tv, or you can go to anywhere where you listen to your favorite podcast. We're on Stitcher, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on iTunes, we're on Player, all of the above. So check it out. But on this week's episode, I talked to my buddy Keenan. Keenan is a best-selling author and a sales trainer, and he makes a living. He gets his greatest joy in life, apparently, from bursting bubbles, from batting down golden calves. And a couple of the golden calves that we took down in the show, talked to him for about 30 minutes the other day. One of the things that he took down was the know, like, and trust factor, which I'm a big proponent of. The know, like, and trust factor, which comes from Bob Berg, who also had on the Get You Some radio show, that said, all things being equal, people prefer to buy from other people that they know, like, and trust. What Keenan said was, it doesn't matter if they like you. People buy stuff from people they don't like all the time. And actually, salespeople are actually hurting their sales efforts by trying to be more likable. I don't know. But if you break down exactly what he said, it makes more sense. He said, yeah, sure, it's great to be liked, but it's not a requirement. What is a requirement is that you are credible, that you're trusted, that people believe that what you're going to do, what you say you're going to do, and people believe that you're capable of doing what you say you're going to be doing. So it's better to be credible than likable. This is what Keenan said. Then actually a couple days later, I saw this survey that came from the National Association of Purchasing Agents, and it was a list of all the top factors which dictated the buying results. What made people decide to buy whatever it is that they bought? And so this is from a wide range of things, not necessarily just insurance or cars or plumbing supplies or anything like that. It's B2B and B2C and everything. But what was the deciding factor that helped people make the decision? And the number one factor that purchasing agent says dictated their buying decision was the trust of the salesperson. Number two was the respect of the salesperson. And then below that, reputation of the company, features of the product. Number five is price. So your price and your features and everything that you've been taught to talk about all the time are way down there below your personal trust and respect. But way down below that, at number 13 on the list, was the likability of the salesperson. So, being likable is below the features, below the price, below the reputation of the company of what you're selling, and way below the trust and credibility that people have in you. So I decided today, for my live video today, we're going to do 5 things in 5 minutes that you can do to start boosting your credibility with your customers instead of your likability. Credibility, number one, and this is the golden rule of social selling. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, I'm going to say it again. Always be yourself unless you suck. So be who you are, be true to yourself. Don't put on airs, don't put on a front, don't be a fake, don't be a phony. People can smell a fake and a phony from a million miles away. They can smell it like bad cheese. And I just had this conversation yesterday with a couple of guys I was talking to on Ryan Girardi's show, Mike Phillips and Mike Carrera and Ryan Girardi. We were talking about this: is you meet people. If you have these social media connections, and then you meet the person in real life, and they're different. The psychological term is called incongruence. When you get a different vibe in person than you get online, it just kind of throws everything off, and that's going to bring your credibility way down. So number one, always be yourself unless you suck. But that doesn't give you permission to be a jerk. Always be yourself unless you suck, but try to be a better version of yourself. Be exactly who you are, only better. Every day try to be a better version of yourself, a more helpful, a more generous, a more kind, a more loving person. But be better, but be true. That's going to bring you credibility. That's going to be where you start. Number two, do what you say you're going to do. Everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten. Do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to deliver it in an hour, deliver it in an hour. If you say you're going to deliver the car washed, deliver the car washed. Whatever you say you're going to do, do it. And that's how credibility and trust begins. And it starts in small things. It starts around the house. Do it with the house and with your wife and your kids and your husband and your spouse and your mother and your father and your family and your friends. Treat those people the way you want everyone to be treated. Don't make a big distinction between your friends and your customers, because you want everyone to be the same. So you're not striving to be likable, but you're striving to be trusted. So be trustworthy in all of your endeavors in real life, online, and at work. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Number 3, if you don't know, say you don't know. You don't have to exaggerate. You don't have to lie. You don't have to make things up. You don't have to worry about looking silly. That's the big thing on social media. Everyone gets concerned about, well, how am I going to look? I don't want to do videos. I want to say this thing, because we're so concerned about what people think. And that's what causes us to hedge our bets when we're talking. If someone asks us a question and we don't know, or we don't have the authority to make that decision, we kind of don't want to look like we don't have the authority. We kind of don't want to look like we're not the one in charge. We're not the big boss of things. But if you don't know, say you don't know. If you can't do it, say you can't do it. And if you don't have the authority to make the decision, say you'll check with the person who does have the authority to make the decision. But keep it honest and open at all times. And now we're going to get to the specific things that you can do on social media, the final 2 that you can do on social media to boost your credibility. And number 4 is the golden rail. It's the holy idol. It's the fat cow on top of the mountain for social media. This is the number 1. It's the heavyweight champion of content. You need to be creating more of this every single day, as much and as often as you can, and that's reviews. Get more reviews. Get more customers saying that you do what you say you're going to do, that you did what you say you were going to do. Get more customers to leave reviews. Human beings are pack animals, and no one wants to be the first one out of the gate. That comes from way back. It's ingrained in us. We're social creatures, and we like to have permission to follow the pack. And if you have dozens of customers saying that you're the best thing since sliced bread, then people will start to believe it. You can say you're the best thing since sliced bread all day long, and you can puff up and stick your chest out and say how great you are and say you're the world champion and number 1 and the best this and the best that, but nobody's going to believe you. You're a salesperson. Nobody's going to believe you because you haven't established the trust. But if you have enough other people saying that, you start to build the trust and the credibility, and the more you have, the merrier it is. And to get as many reviews as you can, get video reviews, get testimonial reviews, get testimonial letters, get pictures with your customers. And that's number 5, pictures and videos of your happy customers, whether they're leaving you a review or not. A picture and a video of a happy customer. If you've got a timeline full of pictures of happy customers, people will look and say, man, he sure is making a lot of customers happy. He must be doing something right. If you've got a timeline full of videos, customers smiling and waving their keys and driving out of the car, so, boy, they sure are selling a lot of cars. They must be doing something right. This must be the place to be. Next week on the Get You Some radio show, I've got my boy Bo Sales from over in North Carolina. He's going to be on the show. And Bo, when he's sitting down on the show, so you get to see this next week. He's got a wall. The entire wall behind him is full of pictures of happy customers. Customers who trusted him enough to make the second largest financial decision they're ever going to make in their life. There's hundreds of them. And so every time he's sitting there talking to a customer, they're looking at hundreds of people who have trusted Bo enough to make this large financial decision. And that's just going to take the weight off of them. It's going to instill the credibility that he needs to close the deal. Being liked is great. I like to be liked. I don't want to get my feelings hurt. I'm worried about being one of the cool kids and being popular. I like it when people like me. But being likable is great. Being credible gets deals done. So start thinking today about how to use these 5 ways to become more credible. And if there's anything I can do to help, pick up the phone and call. We'll see you next time.